So we're standing here in my living room in Tokyo, Japan, and I'm going to show everybody just how amazing Bitcoin is by sending 100 euros worth of Bitcoin as of today's value through my TV, onto the camera, onto the TV in the Netherlands, and anybody with their Bitcoin wallet ready that scans what they're going to see on the screen in a moment will be able to claim the 100 euros worth of Bitcoins. And there's nothing that anybody can do to stop it or to freeze your account or block it or control it in any way. So on the TV here we have a Bitcoin address that I've just generated, and I have my phone here. I'm going to scan the QR code for the Bitcoin address on the TV. Now I have it. I'm going to send 100 euros worth of Bitcoins to that address. So we'll hit send, and anybody can monitor on blockchain.info the balance of this address. There it is, 100 euros worth of Bitcoins just arrived at this address. So total received 100 euros, final balance 100 euros. Just like that. So on this next screen you're about to see, anybody with their Bitcoin wallet that scans the private key that corresponds with that address will be able to claim that money just by scanning the code that you're about to see on your television. So if you want to take a look, here it comes, 100 euros ready for anyone to claim. All you have to do is scan this one right here, and it's 100 euros worth of Bitcoins as of today. By the time you scan it, it might be worth even more. So there it is for anyone ready to claim with their Bitcoin wallet. Okay, Holland, now you've just seen the power of Bitcoin. I sent 100 euros worth of Bitcoin from here in Tokyo directly to you guys through this camera, through the network, through the TV, right into your home. If I had tried to do that, send you the money with a traditional bank, it would have taken several days and probably cost 30 euros. I just did it right now with Bitcoin instantly, basically for free, and didn't have to ask anybody for permission. I didn't need a bank, I didn't need a government, I didn't need anybody. I just needed myself and you and our smartphones to do it. That's the power of Bitcoin.
This is Backlight. Welcome to a world in which we can be our own bank. We take it for granted that money creation is controlled by governments and banks. But there's a community of people who don't see this as a given and who get quite worked up about it.
Wall Street is fraud, America is fraud, the world is fraud, banks are fraud, central banks are fraud. We live in an era of fraud. It's all based on fraud, and they get a percentage of the fraud. That's the business model. To suggest that there is any moral or ethical aspect to anything that's going on now is to be completely naive about the fact that we live in an era dominated by financial terrorists, jihadis of banking. They're here to kill you and themselves. They believe in an ideology, not the Quran, but Adam Smith, that they completely misread and interpret as something to justify their blowing themselves up. Janet Yellen's a terrorist! Mario Draghi's a terrorist! The Central Bank of Japan is a terrorist! These are the real terrorists!
Funds received.
This community is switching to what they think is a better monetary system. A system in which banks are no longer needed because payments can be made directly from one person to another.
In a system of debt, one of the two parties is always the slave. And that is the architecture of money we live in. That is the architecture of money we use in our civilization. An architecture of money where you have no control. An architecture of money where every interaction is mediated by a third party that has absolute control over that money. Bitcoin is fundamentally different because in Bitcoin, you don't owe anyone anything and no one owes you anything. It is not a system based on debt. It is a system based on ownership. And no one can censor it, no one can seize it, no one can freeze it. And what they will tell you is that they're worried. They're very worried. They're worried that criminals will use Bitcoin. But the truth is that they're far more terrified than all of the rest of us will. Thank you.
Bitcoin, the cryptocurrency that was mostly known as a convenient tool for criminals, has suddenly become an important topic at conferences on financial innovation all over the world. Proponents speak passionately of a digital miracle that can save the world from financial ruin. The Bitcoin story starts off like a gospel revelation. It's November the 2nd, 2008, just 6 weeks after the Lehman Brothers collapse, and all over the world there are panicked debates about how to save the banks. Then, on a little visited web forum for cryptographers, a document appears in which a completely new monetary system is proposed. The visionary author calls himself Satoshi Nakamoto.
First time I heard about it, I was at lunch with a buddy in Texas, and he said, man, there's this crazy new money. And so we talked about it over lunch, and then I went home and I said, man, I wanna see if I can buy some. At first I wanted to buy some.
I emailed a friend of mine. I think I probably saw the white paper in some web forum or something. You know, it just said this is some electronic currency thing. And this was publicly available. You know, this was posted, I think December, 2008 or something.
And these were the darkest days of the financial crisis. So that to me suggests a very clever mind that saw an opportunity, the perfect opportunity to introduce a new radical technology and a new radical approach to money and finance at just the right moment when people would be very open to making this big shift that's required to adopt a new currency.
I'm pretty sure Satoshi is a human being, although I'd really love to go find out that he was some advanced AI. But 99.99% chance he was a human being.
What's exciting for me is like a global economy. Right now we say we have a global economy, but I can't take $1 and give it to you in the Netherlands and then you know what to do with it, right? You would have to go and change it to your native currency. And when you kind of eliminate that step, and I can just send you one form of payment and you can send me a product in a matter of seconds, that starts to change things from a global perspective. So
the first wire that I sent was for $25,000, and this was in early 2011, and Bitcoins were somewhere around $1. All the way along, I was buying Bitcoin, and anytime I managed to earn some dollars from my other company, I put it into Bitcoin, and at this point, the vast majority of my net worth I've been keeping in Bitcoin for a while now. I'm glad you didn't get the parking pin. The car is actually like the perfect color for Bitcoin. It's like the Bitcoin orange. So we wanted to order some like Bitcoin decals and put like Bitcoin logos around the car and then drive it around Tokyo to help advertise Bitcoin. But still never got around to doing that. Maybe someday.
Roger Fear is the CEO of MemoryDealers.com, selling second-hand computer equipment. But for a couple of years now, he's been known as the Bitcoin Jesus. In 2011, he bought $25,000 worth of Bitcoins, which now have a market value of $6 million.
And somebody closed my... I usually leave the trunk, the hood open a little bit so that I can reconnect the battery, but I don't know how it got closed between now and the last time I was here, so we'll have to...
Some people think of Bitcoin as sort of an early adopter thing, like, okay, I'm already too late, or... So isn't that a problem for Bitcoin?
So thinking that it's too late to get involved in Bitcoin is like thinking it's too late to get involved with the internet or too late to get involved with using a cell phone. Like, it's not too late to get involved with Bitcoin. Bitcoin's going to make your life easier in so many ways. And the price of Bitcoin, too, it's not too late for that either. Bitcoin's like $270 a Bitcoin right now. If Bitcoin becomes really popular all over the world, Bitcoins are going to have to be worth at least tens of thousands of dollars a Bitcoin, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars per Bitcoin. So thinking it's too late to get involved with Bitcoin is like thinking it's too late to get involved with using the internet. Of course not. Like it's ubiquitous in our lives, and Bitcoin's going to become ubiquitous in our lives as well. Perfect money should have a limited supply. That's one of the most important things. It needs to have a limited supply. It needs to be easily recognizable. It needs to be durable. It needs to be transportable. Bitcoin has all of those things better.